In the heart of London town lived a cat named Lord Lou. He was a Persian with fur like flowing snow, and he had one simple goal in life: to not have to move at all. Now, this wasn't because he was lazy. Oh, no. He was just highly trained. When the sun moved, so did Lord Lou, always seeking the perfect spot for his afternoon nap. It was Mrs. Periwinkle, his owner, returning home from her shopping trip. She had bags full of groceries, and she needed someone to help her carry them inside. You see, Lord Lou was once an ordinary house cat until one day he found a sunbeam on his floor. From that moment on, he dedicated his life to napping in sunbeam. And boy, was he good at it! You could find him stretched out on windowsills, taking in the warmth and occasionally batting at the birds outside. Instead, she set the bags down and said, "Oh, you stay right there, my furry friend. I won't be long." And she went about unloading her groceries. As he trotted along, he couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. But when he got home and pushed open the door, he found Mrs. Periwinkle sitting calmly on the sofa as if she'd been there all day. He'd had a wonderful adventure, and he couldn't wait to tell Mrs. Periwinkle all about it. They were the same bags that he'd helped her carry in earlier. One sunny afternoon, Lord Lou found himself lounging in a sunbeam when he heard a knock on the door. "I was wondering where you'd gotten to. I need your help again. Would you come take a look at these? It was time for some fresh air." So he sauntered out the door without a care in the world. But when she opened the door and saw Lord Lou relaxing in the sun, she couldn't bring herself to disturb him. "Help us!" the kitten cried. "We can't get out of these bags on our own." He'd been so caught up in his own fun, he hadn't realized that he'd left her to carry those bags all by herself. They tumbled onto the floor and meowed gratefully at Lord Lou. Meanwhile, Lord Lou was off on an adventure, exploring the great outdoors. They don't have enough food or money to take care of all of us, so we're looking for a nice family to adopt us. He knew what it was like to be unwanted, and he never wanted any living creature to go through that. He chased a butterfly or two, batted at a fallen leaf, and even made friends with a squirrel named Sammy. "Where are your parents?" Lord Lou asked. He raced over to Mrs. Periwinkle and rubbed against her leg, purring loudly. He'd been so lazy, he hadn't helped her with the groceries, and now she needed his assistance. Lord Lou watched as Mrs. Periwinkle played with them and gave them food and water. They were so tiny and helpless, and she couldn't resist their charm. "Are you sure you didn't sneak them in, you naughty cat?" "Oh, my word!" she exclaimed. "How did they get here? How were the bags supposed to open all by themselves?" So, even though he spent most of his days lounging around, he was content. He'd saved these kittens, and now they'd have a chance at a happy life. Just when he was about to give up, though, he heard a small voice from inside one of the bags. He nudged him here and there, trying to figure out how to help. But the more he tried, the more confused he became. But Lord Lou shook his head sadly. You see, he loved being outdoors, but he also loved his comfy bed and the sound of Mrs. Periwinkle's humming. He may be just like Lord Lou, taking in the warmth and enjoying the simple things in life. He could see for miles around him, and he felt a sense of freedom that he'd never felt before. As soon as she turned her back, however, Lord Lou decided that enough was enough, and if you'd like to support us further, you can check out our support page. Your support helps us to keep making great content. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. He dreamed of chasing butterflies and climbing trees, and he purred contentedly. Mrs. Periwinkle didn't notice he'd left, and so she continued humming to herself as she put away the groceries. He continued to be the laziest cat in the world, and he wouldn't have traded it for anything. He stuck his head into the bag and started batting at the handles until they came loose. He strolled down the sidewalk, tail held high, taking in the sights and smells of the city. They scampered up a tree together, and Lord Lou found himself gazing at the world from a whole new perspective. Sammy the squirrel chattered excitedly from a branch above, urging Lord Lou to come play with him. So he decided it was time to head back home. He imagined her sitting on the sofa, her eyes wide with excitement as he described his escapades. And then he noticed something else. There were a few extra bags on the table, and they looked awfully familiar. "Oh, there you are," she said. Lord Lou felt a pang of guilt. Just then, Mrs. Periwinkle looked up and saw Lord Lou standing in the doorway, a smile spread across her face. She gestured to the bags on the table, and Lord Lou understood instantly. Feeling ashamed, Lord Lou? Trotted over and started pawing at the bags. It seemed like magic. It was a tiny kitten, no bigger than Lord Lou's paw. Lord Lou's heart melted. These little kittens needed his help, and he was happy to oblige. Then he reached in and gently guided the kittens out. "Thank you for saving us," one of the kittens said. "They went to find a new home for us," the kitten replied. Lord Lou's heart went out to these poor kittens. He looked around the room and had an idea. Startled by his sudden appearance, she looked down and saw the kittens at his paws. She bent down and scooped up the kittens, cradling them in her arms. "Don't worry, little ones," she whispered. "You'll be safe and loved here." And just like that, the kittens became part of the family. He couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. From that day forward, Lord Lou became known as the laziest cat in the world. And you know what? He was okay with that. In fact, he liked being lazy. It gave him more time to nap in sunbeams and enjoy the simple things in life. And besides, he knew that he'd done something truly special by helping those kittens. He knew that he'd made a difference in the world, and that was all that mattered. As the years passed, Lord Lou grew older, but his love of naps and sunbeams never faded. One day, while lounging in a particularly warm sunbeam, Lord Lou closed his eyes and drifted off to sleep. He was the laziest cat in the world, and he wouldn't have it any other way. So, if you ever see a cat lounging in a sunbeam, don't disturb him. After all, who wouldn't want to be the laziest cat in the world? And they all lived happily ever after. The end. If you've enjoyed this story, please leave a like and subscribe for more.